The New York Knicks appear to be all in on Tom Thibodeau, and also Mitchell Robinson has made some shocking comments on his return to the Knicks, and we have to talk about this. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to waste no time jumping right into the video today because the New York Knicks appear to be all in on Tom Thibodeau, as an article from The Athletic discussed that Tibbs' current deal runs through the 24-25 season, but league sources say he hopes to secure his future with the Knicks when both sides plan to revisit the topic this summer. And sources say that Tibbs makes around $7 million per year, and all signs point to a well-deserved raise being likely. So obviously that is massive news, as since Tom Thibodeau got here, like most coaches in sports, he's kind of not exactly gonna have the entire fan base behind him, but I would say more of the fan base is behind extending Tom Thibodeau. I'm going to put a poll out on this actually to officially see what you guys believe. But really, when considering the job that Tom Thibodeau has done, he has been the best coach for the Knicks since at the very least Mike Woodson, and potentially the best coach the Knicks have had since Jeff Van Gundy. I think since Van Gundy, it's pretty easy to say that Woodson and Tom Thibodeau, and then after that, maybe Mike Miller are the best coaches they've had. And really, when looking at the New York Knicks roster, this is a type of team that runs on the way Tom Thibodeau plays basketball. They're a grinded out, blue collar, put on your hard hat and go to work basketball team. They're not that flashy. They're not going to hit a bunch of threes. They're not playing that fast pace, gun 5,000 threes per game offense and relying on that. No, this is a Knicks team that relies on their defense. When every team is scoring around 130 points per game, you show up to MSG, the Knicks come out and they beat you with metal bats. And it's just they hold you under 100 points. Sometimes they hold you under 90 points. The Knicks are a nasty team to deal with because their defense, it's so rugged. You have guys who can defend up and down the roster completely. There's no real defensive liability on the court for the Knicks ever. Like, even though Jalen Brunson is not really a great defender, he's not a bad defender, and he draws some of the most charges. Does he lead the league in charges, or is he second? He's in the top two, I know that. And if you look at the way that Brunson plays, he's clearly not a bad defender. I mean, the charges alone show the effort that he gives on defense, but he also does everything he can to stay in front of his defender. He's very strong. He's not a bad defender by any means. He's just not a great defender when there's guys on the Knicks, like OG Anunoby, like Mitchell Robinson, who's coming back soon, like Dante DiVincenzo, like Josh Hart, who are all above average on-ball defenders or low-post defenders, depending on their position. Precious Achiuwa is a very good defender. Isaiah Hartenstein's rim protection has been excellent this season. The New York Knicks, Julius Randle's a good defender also when he plays defense. The Knicks have a great defensive unit, and they work insanely hard, and this is a perfect team for Tom Thibodeau to coach. And with the article that we're looking at from The Athletic, Dante DiVincenzo talks about how the Thibodeau practices aren't as hard as advertised. And what he said is, I played for the Warriors with Steve Kerr, and then for Coach Bud with the Bucks. It's not like you come here and all of a sudden you're running track every day. I think what he does, by far better than anyone I've been around, is he's the most prepared. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go for 2 hours on your feet running. But when you're in there, you're going to lock in, and you're going to get the stuff done, and we're going to get out of there. And this kind of aligns with what Josh Hart was saying on the Roommates podcast a few weeks back. He basically was like, oh yeah, we don't practice that hard. Like, he's like, I've never had days off like I've had with Tibbs. He doesn't make us practice that often. He just comes in, prepares us, and then we leave. And, I mean, so we're basically getting the same statement. And that's just a good sign that there is some clarity on what's going on with Tibbs. He doesn't seem like he's overworking the guys in practice. And we've seen guys not exactly mesh with Tom Thibodeau's style. For instance, Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, neither of whom were viewed as winning players until very recently, and neither of whom have exactly been the leaders on their teams ever, despite both being first overall draft picks. The reason why Jimmy Butler left the Timberwolves is because of that infamous practice that Jeff Teague had given the real details on, where essentially Butler did take the third stringers, guarded Cat the whole time, completely busted him up. I think the final score in that game was like 21-3, and then Jimmy Butler walked out of the practice yelling, "Y'all need me here," and then obviously still requested a trade because he was not messing around with that lineup. Him and Tibbs just were on a different plane. They were cut from a different cloth than the rest of them, And then they brought in a cushy coach in Ryan Saunders who absolutely botched everything. So it shows that maybe despite the fact that Tibbs was voted as the least wanting to play for guy in the NBA in an anonymous poll last year, that could just be incorrect. It could be stigma. Reputations in basketball are a very real thing. Sports, when you get a reputation as a pro athlete or a coach, that sticks with you and it doesn't go anywhere. And sometimes you're just a bad coach. I mean, for any Jets fans out there, when the Jets hired Adam Gase, we were all like, yeah, he sucks. Terrible coach, awful signing. And that was absolutely true. But when you look at teams, or players, sometimes they're going to get caught up in these stigmas and it's going to affect them. And clearly Tibbs is not a bad coach. And when discussing his contract, something we've seen that, as the case with any coach whose contract situation is in question, the outcome of the postseason will definitely matter. His current deal does end in 2025, as we mentioned, and we've talked about this already. They want to get something done this summer, so he's probably just going to sign an extension this summer as long as the Knicks don't absolutely fall apart in the final 10 games of the season. And The Athletic highlights that Tibbs could get a massive extension, especially when it comes to pay. Monty Williams is getting $78.5 million over the next 6 years to not coach the Detroit Pistons. I know he's still their head coach, but he doesn't actually do anything. Greg Popovich, obviously the greatest coach of all time, is getting over $80 million over his 5 years with the Spurs that he signed last July. Shout out, Pops. Eric Spoelstra, who's currently viewed as the best coach in the NBA today, is getting over $100 million on the 8-year extension that he signed with Miami in January. Doc Rivers, his contract runs through 2027, and it's around $40 million, which is insane because he was hired in the middle of the year. And Steve Kerr signed a 2-year, $35 million extension with Golden State in February, which obviously is massive for 2 years. That could be the final of Steve Kerr's coaching, or just whenever Steph Curry retires, because they're going out together, as anyone who's ever paid attention to the Warriors would probably figure. But look, clearly what's happening here is we've seen Tom Thibodeau become ingrained in New York, and we've seen him become one of the great coaches for the New York Knicks. There's a reason why he has some of the most wins in Knicks history. He helped turn the Knicks around instantly since he got there. He's going 3 for 4 on playoffs, and 2021-22 was the weirdest season the Knicks have had in a while. Things were backwards. They didn't really have a point guard. It is Tibbs' fault for playing Alec Burks at point guard. That's completely on him, and I'm someone who was calling for Tibbs to be fired that season because of that. But at the end of the day, he bounced back. Having Brunson there, it clearly works. I'm not in the practices with Tibbs. I'm not on the Knicks, so I don't know, and clearly, I guess I was wrong, and that's fine. I'm not going to be right 100% of the time. You guys think I'm wrong a lot. And now on to Mitchell Robinson, who basically, the day before he returned to practice for the first time, he participated in all the drills, as Coach Tibbs said, and now the wonder is when he might come back that he doesn't know. And what Mitch said is, I asked the doctors, they just throw me curveballs. So obviously that's a shocking comment to make on your tenure with the New York Knicks when talking about returning to the court. Definitely kind of concerning that Mitchell Robinson doesn't know when he's going to be back and has openly admitted to the doctors not giving him a straight answer. And that honestly aligns with what we've heard about OG Anunoby and Julius Randle in the past. So this is clearly just the Knicks not wanting to tell anyone anything, and that, I guess, includes their own players, which I don't really love. I don't think that's a good idea. I believe in transparency with your athletes, but hey, it's whatever. Maybe they don't want to rush him. I don't know what's going on with the Knicks. Again, they're a good organization for the first time in, ever. They're the first time they've been a good organization since James Dolan's been the owner, and that's because he's not doing anything. Thank you, the MSG Sphere in Vegas. But if you look here, Mitch has focused more on his conditioning and less on weightlifting. He's in the pool and on the bike more. And when we saw Mitch come back from his foot surgery, he was big. He was a big, chunky boy. And maybe we won't see that this time from a hefty Mitch. We'll see more of just the athletic guy that we know. And based on conversations with Knicks people, there's a strong probability that he comes off the bench whenever he does play next, as Tibbs hinted. And when a guy comes back off an extended injury or time when it's been out, I think it takes a little bit of time to get coming back. It probably makes sense with shorter minutes and bringing him off the bench. We'll see how it unfolds. So obviously Tibbs is on board bringing Mitch off the bench, something Mitch has been openly happy to do, partially because he's good friends with Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, they're buddies. Isaiah Hartenstein and his wife, or fiance, I don't know if they're married yet. It doesn't matter. But they were at Mitchell Robinson and his girl's baby shower. Like, they were there. There's a photo of the four of them on Mitch's girl's Instagram. Like, you could see it. It's awesome. Like, they're very good friends. They call each other after every game. They talk about things Hartenstein can work on. They are just this amazing friendship duo. So they're fine with backing each other up. Like, they're completely cool with it, which is so rare. And what Mitch said is, hey man, whatever helps the team, I'm down for whatever. Mitch does not care who the starter is. He just wants to win. And that is something you love to see, especially from the longest tenured player on the team. A guy in Mitchell Robinson, who's one of the few players on the Knicks who knows what the team was like pre-Leon Rose, pre-Tom Thibodeau. I mean, yeah, Julius was here for a year without Tibbs also, but outside of those two, there's no one else who knows a pre-Tibbs Knicks. There's no one else who knows a pre-Leon Rose Knicks other than those two, and Mitch has spent more time than anyone. Mitch was on that 17 and 65 team. He was the best player on that team. And he was a rookie. A second-round rookie. He was the best player on that team. Don't get it twisted. It was Mitch with the way he played in the second half of the season. He played excellent basketball for the Knicks, and it paid off. And now he's still here, and he's fine with doing whatever he wants. The man just wants to win. You gotta commend that. And he also just mentioned that he felt like he was finally getting into shape and was at the top of his career before he went down with the injury. And he said, and the next thing you know, I went down, and I just wanted to throw shit. I mean, Mitchell Robinson clearly has all the heart in the world. He wants to stop this injury-prone issues, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Knicks do in regards to Mitch and Hartenstein and Achua and Hartenstein and Achua and OG all needing contract extensions, and OG obviously going to get his, and they better give Isaiah Hartenstein his. It means that we might not see Precious Achua on the New York Knicks for that much longer, but again, he's mainly going to be a backup power forward when everyone's healthy. If you have to lose Precious to keep this platoon of Mitch and Hartenstein, you absolutely do it. And guys, comment down below what you think on the Mitch situation. Comment down below what you think of Tibbs. I'm going to post a poll that just kind of talks about the whole Tibbs situation. Do you guys want to see Tibbs coach the Knicks, or do you want to see a different coach come in once his contract ends? I'll put the poll up on Knicks Digest when this video comes up. So have a great day, guys. Go Knicks. Subscribe now. Do it right now. Dudes, you're just watching me say this. Go subscribe. Just get it done, please. Damn, just do it.